Hey y'all, welcome back. Today I have an engineering challenge for us. We're going to design a boat out of pool noodles and see which design holds the most weight. Now, I don't expect us to get this first try because like most engineers, it takes a lot of designing, testing, and iterations in order to discover the best design. So I have 3 different designs for us to try today, and you're going to need just one pool noodle. I have 2 because I just love the colors, but you really only need 1. But you're gonna cut into 2 6-inch pieces. So I did red and blue. You can use whatever colors you would like, but you're going to need 2. Then you're going to need some cardboard because these are going to be our platforms that we're going to attach to our pool noodles. Kind of like this. Now to attach them, I'm going to use these sort of picks because I don't have toothpicks, so I'm gonna work with what I got. And then the weight I'll be using is this big jar of coins. I'm going to pick out specifically the quarters, that way it's fair. But feel free to use any quarters, coins, even toys if you have a group of toys that have some weight to them. Now, keep in mind, I cut these at about 6-inch pieces. It's okay if yours are 4, 5, 6, 8. Whatever works for you. And it doesn't matter what you're using for weight, as long as you can determine which one holds the most weight. It could be whatever you would like. This is just for fun in the name of science. So let's get started. Now, why pool noodles? Well, pool noodles are filled with tiny air bubbles that allow them to be less dense than water, causing them to float. And when air pressure is pushed the top against the water, that's called buoyancy. So these pool noodles have really good buoyancy. We're going to see how good of buoyancy when we attach our platform and add some weight to it. So for our first boat, I'm going to use one of my pool noodles and I'm going to match it with a piece of cardboard. In order to get my platform to stick to the top of my pool noodle, I'm going to do 2. One towards the front. So mine go a little fast, but that's okay. Now you can cut them off, or I'm just gonna leave them. If you have toothpicks, that'll probably be a better fit. But this is what I had, so that's what makes a great DIY. Now in order to have a good boat design, we're gonna need a couple things. 1, it has to be able to float. Duh, it's a boat. 2, we're looking for stability. Stability means that it's not going to tip over. Think of if you're standing on one leg, you're going to lose your balance and you can tip over. But you have both feet down, you're gonna be pretty stable. That's kind of what we're looking for in our boat. So now let's predict. How do you think design 1 will do? Do you think it'll have enough buoyancy to float? Do you think that this design will be stable? All right, let's get to our water. So I'm gonna be doing my experiment in a tub. If you would like to use yours in a tub, or if you have a pool, go ahead and grab your grown-up. You can also just use a bucket of water or maybe even a sink. As long as it's deeper than our boat, you should be good. Let's go. Okay, we have boat 1. Does it float? Technically it floats. Already, right off the bat, not very stable. That's not holding anything. No go, back to the drawing board. Okay, so boat number 1 did pretty good. Did it float? Yeah. Was it stable? Not quite. So, just like our standing up method, when we stand on one foot, we're not that stable, but when we stand on both feet, we're pretty stable. Let's go ahead and try 2. So I have my 2 pool noodles about the same length. I'm going to cut a new piece of cardboard to best fit them. So, remember, it's okay if it's not perfect. Okay, I think that's a pretty good fit. Now for the toothpicks. Stab 2. And then 2 more in the back to really secure the platform. Okay, and then I'm gonna push mine all the way through. Platform is secure, so let's go ahead and ask our questions again. Do we think it'll float? How much weight do you think it'll hold? And do you think it's stable? Got your predictions? Let's go. We have boat 2. Will it float? Alrighty, we got floating and it's stable. Let's add some coins. Oops. So it's pretty stable and can hold coins, but what happens in the weight distribution is not centered. Oops, and down. Things are falling off because it's starting to tip. Now, although the boat isn't tipping over completely, it's still not necessarily stable enough to hold as many coins as it should. So we can see the red pool noodle is more underwater, meaning that it's heavier on that side. And because it's heavier on that side, it's starting to tip, causing us to lose coins. So basically, back to the drawing board. Okay, so for boat number 2, did we solve the problem by adding another pool noodle? Well, more pool noodles means better floating, more buoyancy. And was it more stable? Yeah, but was there still a downfall? Yeah, if we put weight off to one side, the boat still was going to tip. So unless the weight was perfectly distributed in the center of the boat, you're going to tip one way or the other. And yes, that means it was more stable than the first one, but is it the most stable? And just like an engineer would think, I think we can fix this problem. How can we improve? Well, again, if I think to us standing, tried the 1 foot, that was boat 1. We tried 2 feet, okay? Now think about if you were standing with your feet together. Can you still kind of lose balance maybe if there's a big gust of wind or maybe if someone gives you a little push? Yeah, if your feet are together, you're gonna kind of tip over. But if we put our feet apart and make a wide stance, are you more stable or less stable? If you have your feet apart and they're grounded and someone gives you a push, you're not tipping over, you're not going anywhere, you're pretty stable. So how wide of a stance something has can determine how stable something will be. So when looking at design number 2, the big difference coming to my mind for design number 3 would be to widen its stance. Now there are boats like this called catamarans. That is what we're going to build. So you're going to need your 2 pool noodles. You can cut new ones or use the same ones that you used for boat 2. Now, we're going to put them apart, wide stance. I'm going to cut a longer piece of cardboard, set them on top so there's definitely a gap in the middle. Get your toothpicks, and I'm just going to put 2 toothpicks. Okay, boat number 3, we gotta make those same 3 predictions. 1, do you think it'll float? 2, do you think it'll be able to hold more or less weight? 3, how stable do you think this will be? Let's go. Boat number 3. It floats. Let's start testing coins. Now these are the coins from boat number 2. Let's start adding more. That was my fault. Now I'm purposely kind of tipping it to the front to see what will happen. But this is already more coins than boat 2. Okay, boat number 3, holding more coins. Both pool noodles are pretty evenly underwater, but definitely tilting to the front. Let me show you the back. Okay, see, back is not very much out of the water. However, compared to boat number 2, when the weight distribution was off, coins were sliding off really quick. So the wider stance is still doing better, still holding. Let's keep going. There we go. Still, boat number 3 was our winner. Now, if you got extra pool noodles, I suggest you build a boat 4. What would you do differently? What would you improve to make boat 4 the best boat of all time? So the big thing we discovered today is that floating and stability are not the same thing. Pool noodles helped our boat float because they contain little air pockets, which creates buoyancy. But building a successful boat doesn't just rely on buoyancy and being able to float, it relies on stability. And on top of that, we had to think about balance. So as engineers, we tested different ideas, we made observations, and we improved our design based on evidence. We learned that sometimes adding more material helps. Sometimes it could be as simple as just changing the design that really makes a difference. And that's how engineers solve problems every day, by asking questions, testing solutions, improving designs, and learning from the results. So next time you see a boat, a bridge, playground, or even a pool noodle, remember that engineering and science make that happen, because science is everywhere. Bye guys.
If your students enjoyed this activity, check out the standards-aligned chemical versus physical changes video lesson at generationgenius.com.